Jay Gurudev. Hello, Facebook. Welcome. We're just quickly trying to figure out how we can add Swami Shridhar here, and hopefully some people will join as we're setting this up. How's everybody doing? Who is this? Ah, these are guests. Ah, Jay Gurudev, everybody. This is my first time on Facebook Live. Nice to see people joining. We'll have Swami Shridhar here in a few seconds, hopefully. And yeah, this is actually relatively unscripted. I actually haven't spoken with Swami Sridhar in a long time, but I've known him for several years. Um, we're just trying to add now. Yesterday I was talking with Aditya. He's kind of the producer or the one that was organizing this whole thing. And I was saying, is everything ready for tomorrow? And he was saying, yeah, it's going to be good, except Swami Sridhar actually doesn't have Facebook. And I was like, oh, it's true. How are we going to connect with them? And so, for those of you who know Swami Tulsidas, he's actually using Swami Tulsidas's profile. But yeah, I really haven't spoken with him in a long time, and I've known him for almost 7 years. I actually met him the same day that I met Guruji, um, in the airport in October, and I haven't spoken with him since he was initiated as a Swami, and I'm really looking forward to chatting with him again and seeing him again. Seems we're having some. Oh, there we go. It says, oh, here we go. Hey,
Jay Gurudev,
Jayodev,
Sambhava. I've been
Swamiji,
listening to you.
what's up?
It's so good to see you.
You as
I've been
well.
listening to you.
Just now.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
we
some
could
reason
hear
we were
you.
having some issue adding you, but you're here now. Oh my gosh, look at your background. So for those of you who don't know, Swami Sridhar is in Maui. He lives in Maui. I've actually been there. Absolutely beautiful. Hey, Jago Dave. Wow. You definitely have me beat for background. That's a real background. It almost looks green screen, but it's not.
No, that is real life.
What's up, man? You looking good. Bro, I have to say congratulations. I was just saying we haven't spoken in ages. I haven't even talked to you since your initiation. Congratulations,
Thank you.
Swami. How's it been?
Thank you. It's been good. I was also thinking about how long it's been since we've spoken. But I also know that we have such a good connection that it's just always like picking up right where we left off.
Yeah, I kind of wanted it to be like I didn't want to even talk to you at all before, just so this was a genuine reaction. But yeah, like I was saying, actually in like 2 months, it'll will have been 7 years, I think, since we
Wow.
we met each other.
Yes, our trip to Bellingham when you met Guru, and then that comes to mind. Probably one of the most poignant trips with you was our trip to Mauritius
Yeah,
together.
yeah. For of course people who don't know, I've been all over the world with Swami Sridhar and Guruji, and he's really like he's become like a brother to me, and it's super good to see you, man.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time. I miss you guys. It's Swami Tulsidas and Govinda arrived to Maui yesterday,
Oh,
so it's been
yesterday.
about 5 months since I've been with any of the core devotees or
Mm.
crew. So it's just been really, really pleasant to have them here. And we were blessed in 2017. Guruji came with you to visit Maui, and so it's really nice to they can feel his presence in the house and on the property, and so we're in really good spirits here, and excited to talk with you and also share about darshan, which is you know, something worth sharing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was kind of again prompted a little bit, but like I was saying, this is all unscripted, let's say. But then you have a story also that you want to share, and I think I've heard a little bit about it, but I actually don't know the details really of your friend and the story that you want to share.
Yeah, his story is quite remarkable, like from beginning to end. His name's Johnny, and I met him on Maui about 5 years ago, and we would always connect every morning. I stopped by the coffee shop on the way into work, and I would often have a Just Love book. Um, it's a nice book to carry around, by the way. Um, Better book to read. But we would connect with Guruji. He always wanted to talk with me and hear stories about travels with Guruji, and he really kind of took about 2 years to open up to learning Atmakriya Yoga, which he did. And then when you guys came to Maui in 2017 with Guruji, Guruji had a darshan. He was here for 5 nights, and Johnny received his first darshan that night. And after the darshan, Johnny basically asked Guruji if he could initiate him to be an Om chanting leader. He was so moved, and Guruji on the spot, he asked a few things of him, that he would spread the mission, and Johnny agreed with love, and he got initiated for leading Om chanting
Maybe
r-
just quickly, if
right
people
after darshan.
don't know what Om chanting is or Adma Kriya.
Um, well, Atmakriya is basically one of the pillars of Guruji's gifts to the world, or part of the mission that he's giving to the world. And it's a practice of yoga and meditation, and essentially a divine practice to develop your own relationship with the divine within, and also to begin to purify oneself through the practice and through the grace of Guruji and Mahavatar Babaji, to basically allow more and more and more of the love of who we really are to come out. And that's, in a nutshell, the Atmakriya Yoga spiritual practice that he's giving. And Om chanting is the one group practice that's within the Atmakriya Yoga. And it's an ancient practice handed down from the Rishis of India for thousands of years. And Mahavatar Babaji, who's Swami Vishwananda's direct guru, asked him to revive the practice for our times now, which is really needed. And Om chanting circles are an opportunity to, excuse me, where they can have a minimum of 3 people, and on up to 50 or 100 people. For 45 minutes, they sit with an inner circle facing out and an outer circle facing in. And for 45 minutes, they chant the name of Krishna. They chant Om. And it's it's an offering uh, of love and of sharing the holy name and doing it together. And it's a very transformational practice for the individual in the circle to connect with the divine name, to be supported by others who are there also chanting together, and transform negativity into positivity, and as well as the environment around the circle up to 1 to 2 kilometers is affected in a positive way. And Babaji and Swami Vishwananda, our guru and Param guru, they through the invocation, they in essence are within every circle, and they bring everyone the blessing that they're ready for in that moment in the circle. It's one of my favorite practices of Atma Kriya Yoga because it's super easy, and if you've never chanted Om before or done an Om healing circle, you're ready to go. Even essentially with it, what you've learned from me just now, you can join a circle. So yeah, it's a phenomenal way to introduce the world to the divine name and the chanting of the divine name.
Yeah, before I met Guruji, actually, I was doing Om chantings a couple years before, and yeah, I've had some crazy experiences. Um, and yeah, you don't need to be, you know, you can, like you said, your friend, he can just, you can take Atma Kriya, you don't have to know anything or do anything specific. You can just learn Atma Kriya, and you can also become an Om chanting leader. So your friend, after receiving darshan, he asked Guruji immediately if he could lead Om chanting.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just so beautiful that the way that Guruji accepted his request in that
Mm,
moment and gave him the blessing. And but the story, the reason that um, Johnny's story is so special, it kind of evolved from 2017 to earlier this year, and he was very active with his practice, his personal kriya practice, meditation practice. But I personally was traveling a lot of the time over those 3 years with Guruji, and in the early part of the year, this year in January, Johnny contacted me, and he essentially let me know that he was basically on his deathbed. Like he had cancer, and he was uh, probably living with limited time. And his connection was always so strong with Guruji. Like he had dreams with Guruji, and um, so he wrote to me and asked me if I could ask for a blessing for him from Guruji. And he said that he knows that it's out of his control, but if if it was possible, he wanted to continue living. But he also understands that and accepts whatever happens. And then he said, part of the reason that I want to keep living is because I feel like we have so much work to do together, spreading
mm.
Guruji's mission. And I, within a day or two, was able to show Guruji the text message. And Guruji said to send him his blessings. And then Guruji looked up and said, what will be, will be. And it was about a week later that I got a couple messages from Johnny, one on my text, one on my Telegram, one on my WhatsApp. Like, I need to talk to you immediately, as soon as you can get a hold of me. And the night before, Swami Parantapa was with us all on a conversation with someone who was sharing about Guruji. And it was such a beautiful story that she shared about how she was protected in a very scary situation, and Guruji was listening, and a lot of us were listening to her share how Guruji protected her in this very scary situation, which I won't go into. But it was so inspiring to hear. And it was the next day that Johnny texted and was looking for me. And because we had asked Gurudev for his blessings, and the nature of the texts were with so much excitement and hurry, we thought that, maybe some miracle happened, and some healing, or we didn't know what, but we thought maybe we should record the conversation when he calls.
Mm.
And so Govinda, who's helping me to make a documentary about Guruji, filmed our conversation with Johnny. And Johnny, he relayed what he called a vision that he had. It was in a sleep state, but he said it wasn't a dream. It was visceral. It was as real as anything. And in the dream, he was confronted with a battle. And he was in this battle that all his friends were watching and none were helping.
Wow.
And this battle like moved scenes, and he was praying to Guruji in the dream, and Guruji's feet came out of Johnny's chest, and Johnny said all he did was like grab the feet, like that was all there was. And he spent about 25 minutes sharing to us while we were recording of how moved he was by the vision of Guruji. And here he was 3 days before he died.
Wow.
And he was sharing, like, it, you guys, it's available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, for you to listen to this
What's the
sharing
name of the
from
channel?
Johnny. It's, if you went to 40 Centimeter Pilgrim on YouTube, or 40 cm Pilgrim, you'll find the story. It's called From Realm to Realm is the title for his sharing.
And it's the
And the
recording
way,
itself.
yeah, it's the
Wow.
recording, the audio recording, because we recorded it on video, and there's a
Mm.
few snippets of me talking to him, but then there's a lot of pictures of Johnny and of Swami Vishwananda and yourself when you came to Maui, because of the Maui connection. And it's kind of it's incredibly moving. Like, I've listened to it 15 times and it still moves me to tears, because he, in his vision and in his sharing of his vision, says that I'm 3 days away well, he didn't know. He goes, I'm on the brink of dying, and I've never been more satisfied or fulfilled in my whole life,
Wow.
because because he was holding the feet of Guruji, and and I think he expresses like all he loved Guruji so much, like that he says, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, like I never want to let your feet go, I love you, I love you, like it. And it's the most, he didn't know he was being recorded. It's the most like sincere, deeply felt sharings about the love of the guru, that I've ever really gotten the chance to listen to. And the fact that he was just days away from dying, and he said he could barely pick up his phone to talk to me. That's the state he was in.
Mm.
And but yet he was never happier in his whole life, because I had the opportunity to show the video to Guruji, so I could ask his permission to publish it. And as the video wound down, and finished, Guruji turned to look at me, and he said his prayers were answered. And not only did Guruji come to him before he passed to give him this incredible sense of peace while he's dying, but when I shared with him, hey, by the way, Johnny, we're recording your testimony right now, and he became so thrilled. He was so grateful. He's like, oh my gosh, because he knew that this was the only chance for him to share this experience with Swami Vishwananda.
Wow.
And his prayer, when he asked by text, he said, because I think we still have work to do. And I know that he's left his body, but not only did Guruji come to him and bless him and grace him and give him this peace, but the opportunities, like we're sharing about his story. His story's published on YouTube for anyone who cares to listen to it. And Guruji actually, at a darshan, while we were in Mauritius, asked the audience to go watch it. They should go watch it. And I think over 24 hours, about 2,500 people watched it. And so many people were moved by the heartfelt expression, unadulterated love that he felt, and his appreciation. He said when he woke up, all he wanted to do was share about Paramahamsa Vishwananda. And the nurse came up, and he said he started talking to her because she was the first one there. But it was so beautiful the way that the prayers were answered by Guruji, not only by blessing him and giving him the peace, the fulfilling peace, but also from allowing his experience to continue on in the world to hopefully inspire others.
Mm.
So that's the story about Johnny.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think somebody actually, just shared the link as well in the chat. And after this, you can all go and watch it. It reminds me of another story that you're very familiar with, and I'm, of course, very familiar with as well, which is my father. Yeah, for those of you,
you should share that, bro.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, 2013, my father passed away. And just quickly, because there's kind of a long version and a shorter version, but essentially, my dad and my mother had been divorced for a long time. So my dad lived in Washington. I grew up on Vancouver Island in Canada, and my father had remarried, my mom had remarried. And so I used to go and visit my dad in Washington. And one evening, my stepmom, who some of you may know as Gauri, she also happens to be a resident here in Germany, but at the time she was, just my stepmom. But she actually, I was there visiting them one time in Washington. I think I was maybe 16 or 17, must have been, or, yeah, probably 17. And one evening she asks me, "Oh, I'm going to something called Om chanting." Speaking of Om chanting, and as a 17-year-old, I kind of asked her to explain to me what that was, and she kind of gave the explanation that you mentioned, which is there's two circles, an inner circle and outer circle, and people chant Om for 45 minutes. And as a angsty 17-year-old teenager who is too cool for, most things, I was thinking in my mind, like, okay, that sounds super weird. Um, and I told her, I said, yeah, I'll think about it. But inside, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to go to that. Like, come on. And then, throughout the day, I was thinking, like, oh, what else? What else am I doing? What else is going on? Like, why not? Like, what do I have to lose? I'm not doing anything else. And so I said, okay, let's go. And I was expecting to meet a bunch of weird people, basically. And instead, I met some of the nicest people I'd ever met, who were just, yeah, they were just incredible people who, at the time, of course, I didn't know even who Guruji was, who Swami Vishwananda was, who Paramahamsa Vishwananda was, but they happened to be devotees of him, American devotees. And yeah, it was just an incredible experience. We did Om chanting. It was just, it can be a very, very powerful, moving experience. And they were so sweet and so giving. I remember afterwards they just sat and spoke with me, and they were like, I was asking them questions and they were telling me about their guru, and they were like, we just feel, they gave me vibhuti, which is a sacred ash, and all these different things. And I remember afterwards, after we left, Gauri and I looked at each other and we said, we were in the car, like going to drive back, and we looked at each other and said, well, I think our lives are not going to be the same. I think this has been our lives are not going to be the same anymore after this. It just really felt like that was just such a impactful moment in my life, or experience in my life. But you may notice that I didn't say my dad was there, right? So my dad, of course, was alive at the time, and as after that experience, Gauri and I became more and more kind of involved. I wanted to learn Atmakriya yoga. I wanted to do more Om chantings. I wanted to spend more time with these people and all of these things. And I was kind of like the beginning of my spiritual path. And throughout this whole experience, my dad was he's always supportive. He's very. I used to do like in Canada and in Vancouver Island. There's a lot of Native American or First Nations people. He was very involved there. So he's a spiritual person, is what I'm trying to say. So he was very open to it. He wasn't against it in any way. But he just never joined us. He never had he didn't have the feeling to. He wasn't as excited about it as Gauri and I were. So he wasn't learning at Makriya. He came to an Om chanting, but he was just kind of be supportive, but like kind of just holding back, staying back, which was totally fine. And then so, you know, maybe year and a half later or whatever, I think Gauri texts me, and she says, "Oh, the weirdest thing just happened." Um, she says, "Your dad, all of a sudden, he just says he wants to learn Admakriya, kind of out of the blue." And and she was like really shocked about it. And I was very like, that's so strange, because for a year or so, we've just been super involved in this, and he had every opportunity. But now all of a sudden there's like this urgency where he's like, I need to learn Amakriya. I want to learn Amakriya as soon as possible. And so Varhi, which is the woman's house who I first met at Om chanting, and the woman who taught me Amakriya, she managed to get a few people together that wanted to learn Amakriya, and she managed to teach him which was also kind of a story because it was very close. Like she needed like 3 or 4 people to kind of make a class, and she was flying to, the other side of the country very soon, and blah blah blah. But anyway, they managed it, and yeah, it was just such a strange thing because all of a sudden he's like, I need to learn Atma Kriya. I'm like, okay. And so he does the course, and yeah, and I got an email from him on June 7th, I think. And yeah, the email just said, I was initiated into Atma Kriya today. Yippee for me. Like, yay, me. Love, Dad. That was in the morning. And in that evening, he had a heart attack and died. And the whole story, like how everything kind of happened around it as well, is just so incredible. He was a pilot. Like, he loved to fly more than anything, you know. And when my sister was born, who's 5 years older than me, so my mom and his first kid, he sold his plane. And so he hadn't owned a plane in like 23 years or whatever since he sold the plane when she was born at the time. And so he just fairly recently bought a very small plane. And so he was initiated Atma Kriya, let's say in the morning or in the afternoon, and then he went flying. And he had this small plane, so it's like an ultralight plane. So there's very small. There's no walls. I'm actually the only person that ever flew with him in that aircraft. There's no walls, and it's super small. And so he had it at a friend's hangar, and there's just like a grass kind of airfield or airstrip that was like a private. So it was just like a grass runway. And he went there and was flying around, and like again, like all these things, but like a couple weeks before he had like set up a camera. He was like trying to figure out how to set up a camera. So he was recording this flight in a beautiful summer evening. Like the whole thing is recorded, and then he lands. And one of the biggest things for a pilot is the landing, getting the landing smooth. And in the video, the landing, which happened to be his last flight ever, like you can't even tell like when he lands of how smooth it is. And so he lands and he taxis back to the runway. He turns off the airplane and he's just pushing it into the hangar. And again, we know this because the whole thing is recorded because he has a little camera, so you can see him pushing it in. And then the hangar door closes, and it just slowly closes and literally just fades to black, and the recording stops. And after the recording stops, he laid down. Probably he had some chest pain or something. He laid down on the concrete and passed away. And it's just so crazy because it's like a script. It was just like a scripted movie, how every single thing just perfectly happened. And so, after he didn't come home, my stepmother started calling, blah blah blah. They found him there. When the paramedics came and found him, they said, we've never seen anybody who's died from a heart attack who looks so peaceful. So serene was the word I think they used. And his eyes were pointing upwards and towards his third eye. And so what we are quite sure happened is that he laid down and he started chanting the mantra, which was given to him during Om Namo, or during Atma Kriya, which is Om Namo Narayanai, which is also the mantra that Guruji has given to us to chant. And he laid down and started chanting and left his body. And so when I met Guruji, like, yeah, a year later or so, or just over a year later, it was one of the first things I asked him was about my dad. And he said, I said, how, like, just meeting this guru, this man, all of a sudden, literally like the night that I met him. And I've heard all of these things about him and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, if there's anybody that can answer this question, it's him. And I just said, how is he? Like, and Guruji just remember just like kind of like looked off like he does, and he looked back and he said, You don't have to worry about him. He's fine. He's good. And then basically confirmed like everything that we had assumed already, that he was chanting and all these things. So yeah, this is another experience with Guruji making the transition for his devotees and his people from life into death, and how beautiful actually it is, you know, how beautiful it can be when you have the grace of the master.
Yeah, and it shows that that divine timing, the
Yes,
divine hand
yes.
is very clear.
Yeah, yeah. One other thing I remember Guruji said to me, like, why? Like, because all of a sudden, out of the blue, you needed to learn Kriya, right? And Guruji was saying that, you know, there's the mind, the consciousness that we're aware of, but there's a greater consciousness and a kind of a longing and a desire from the soul. And when the soul is ready, it makes things happen, right? So this was kind of like he was saying that he basically knew, not consciously, but that he was about to die essentially, and in a week's time or whatever it was, and and yeah, Guruji says he loves the story so much of my dad, because he says it just shows like when that soul is ready, it can be lifetimes. You can live many lives. You can reincarnate so many times, but when the soul is ready, it's ready. And it goes, I need to learn Edmund Korea now. I need to do, it's time. And yeah, it's beautiful, man.
Jay Gurudev, that is beautiful. You were you in your story when you talked about the Om chanting circle and how your life would probably never be the same after that first Om chanting circle. And it sounds just like how I would try to describe darshan, or receiving the divine sight from uh, a prema avatar, or from a God realized being, from an incarnation of love. I can go on and on about how different people describe Guruji. Um, Guruji is love. Um, Chanting Om in Om circle is offering love. And in thinking about darshan and the experience of it, um, and hopefully inspiring people who've never experienced it to at least give it a try, is that for me, who I've actually been so blessed in my life to travel around the world maybe 12, 13, 14 times, like literally, and have a life that's introduced me to many different uh, stratospheres of people, um, all the way up to the upper echelon in American society, through my surfing school that I've had for 30 years. And the experience of Guruji,
Mm.
there's no comparison for me. Like, and that's what's one of the things that's so special about the opportunity to, like, even just look at him online, or observe how he is love, uh, and receive this experience that, like an Om chanting circle, can change your life forevermore. You know, it, it's like your spectrum of relativity of your own experience just gets completely obliterated by this love. Like you don't have a reference point for it. Like
Mm.
it basically, like I would say, okay, how do you describe love? Like it's almost impossible with words. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to describe this love. And the distinction is that his love is the love of the divine. Like it appears, it feels, it looks like never ending fountain of love towards all that he is engaging with, in a manner of serving all that he's engaging with, so that they might be sparked to find within themselves what he knows is in themselves, which is the Lord of creation himself. Like that love is within everybody. And seeing him, meeting him, observing him, to me is observing like love like I can't compare to. And so I think that that would be like one angle I would share, to try and describe this love that is shared during darshan. And it's an unconditional love. um, it's a love that basically you can't relate, you can only feel. Like, and everybody of course has a different and their own unique experience of it. And so it was because of COVID, um, you know, so many silver linings in COVID. And
Mm.
one of them is that up until COVID, Guruji was traveling 30 to 35 countries a year, like amazing travels, like so traveling so much to give in-person darshans and blessings to so many different countries, because he wants to plant these seeds of love like all over the world. Like he's here for everyone. He doesn't segregate. You know, he sees everyone as one. And so it's a to to see the to experience the darshan in person. It's obviously it's different than receiving it online. And I felt like sharing a little bit about what it's like to experience a live darshan. And I'll just share my first darshan, which was in Germany at Sri Pithanalaya, which is where his home center is. And I didn't know what darshan was uh, at all. And I actually didn't even know what a prema avatar was. I remember Googling it, because that's at the time how they were describing. And essentially it's an incarnation of divine love. It's not a normal like soul incarnating in a body, but it's the divine choosing to come and walk around humanity and the earth, to uplift the earth, to uplift humanity. Like when humanity's in its dark place, when it's steamed in ignorance and the ego of the world is overtaking, like it's getting too much spotlight, and and the divine will come to remind us of who we really are, of the love that's within every entity, human, animal, plant, mineral. And when I watched the first darshan, there was around 900 to 1,000 people. And somehow through the grace of,
Was it in India? Wasn't in India, was it?
no, it was in Germany. It
Oh,
was
sorry. Yeah, you said.
at
Yeah,
Sri Pithanalaya, and it was under the big tent. And so, I mean, it was overwhelming to see this beautiful man, with the smile that can light up a night, um, sitting in this beautiful chair that was appropriately decorated for him. And then to watch him start giving darshan, where every single person over the course of 8 or 9 hours got the opportunity to work their way up to him and share the gaze with him, although his gaze to us is different than our gaze to him. He's told us that, he doesn't necessarily see the outside when he's giving darshan like we do, or I do, I'll just, for me. But he sees all of who we are, and he can see what we're ready for, what blessing we're ready for in this moment, each person. And that's what he does. He gives us a blessing that we're ready for in that moment. And it's love. And I watched the first darshan. I was taking photos and video recording up front. And what struck me by 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, that he, throughout the whole 7 or 8 hours, he never left his chair. I can't even remember if he stopped to take a drink of water. He gazed into every single person's eyes to give them a blessing. And what really struck me was that I never saw a fleck of deviation of the what I would describe as oneness. Like, he loved every single person, whether they were tall or short, young or old, with this same oneness, like with this love that is like a unifying love. And
It's a good way to
that's
describe
what
it.
that was what struck me. And then the whole event itself, like, basically a little contrast between the darshan online and an in person. To watch the event is extremely auspicious. To watch the way that people can't wait till their turn, to observe their aftermath, like whether it's joy or tears of joy, or running away to be on their own, to sit with this life altering exchange that they don't have a reference point for. To listen to the musicians all interchanging over the whole 9 hours with live bhajans, live devotional songs to the Lord. To see the way people dress so beautifully to come see him, and to see the reverence and mutual adoration for what a rare, special opportunity is to be with Guruji while he's giving everyone else darshan. And so when we're sharing now about this opportunity to receive online darshan, I'm trying to bring a little bit of the help understand the, like, how auspicious it is to have this chance to look at your screen and observe someone who's pure love, like who's like the 2 weeks, about 10 days ago, on the 3rd, he gave darshan, and it was so wonderful to, for the first 20 minutes, there's over 1,000 people on screen for him, and he takes the time to look at every single person. And my tip is to not take your eyes off him. Like, observe the way he looks at each person. I mean, you don't know who he's looking at, but just watch his every infinite move. Sometimes he'll shut his eyes for an extra 2 seconds because I perceive that he's sending something to someone or connecting with the divine for a blessing for that person. Um, because for me, like I said, there's nothing to relate Guruji to that I've ever met in my life. And I hope that maybe that's inspiring enough for you to experience uh, the love of of God that is in this person.
Yeah. You know, very beautiful what you're saying. And yeah, I think just to add to that, like it's just for maybe people that have never received or if you know people that have never received darshan, like it's I think yeah, what you're saying, the point that you're trying to bring across, like this is a very, very rare opportunity. This is an incredibly rare human being or being that's that's incarnated at this time in this world, you know. There's situations and moments and times in our lives or times in history even that we have this opportunity or this opportunity has somehow presented it to yourself. And similarly in the way that, you know, when I was first invited to an Om chanting, like you were saying, that I was like, this is crazy, this is weird. Like you, ultimately, I came to the conclusion, I have nothing to lose. And I think we're both saying as well, like, there's nothing to lose from this experience if you've never received darshan or you know of people that have never received darshan. There's nothing to lose, but there's literally everything to gain. And so there should be a link, I believe, in on this post. I can't see it, but I'm told that there's a link. If you haven't signed up for darshan, it's super easy. Like Swami Shridhara was saying, because of COVID now, it's online. Like you literally just connect on whichever, however you want via Zoom. But there should be a link on this post that you can click on if you've never received darshan or if you know of anybody that's never received darshan. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, there's a catchphrase that goes around our circles that love changes everything.
Mm,
And both Om chanting circle, if you've never done it, as well as darshan, um, it's like don't take our word for it.
that's the thing.
Don't take our word that this particular fruit is the sweetest of all fruits. Like until you taste the fruit yourself, you're just taking the opinion of another. And darshan is actually free. Like there's the ability to donate, and maybe that's changing. They might be a small fee. I don't know, but
No, if you're
up
new,
until
it's free for the first 3 times or whatever.
so yeah, I mean
If you're new, it's
it's
free.
even free. There's no cost. I mean the only cost is really skipping it. Um,
Yeah,
but
it's true. Like you said, it's like, you know, if you're teaching math, I can teach you that 2 + 2 = 4, and I can teach you mathematics. But especially with these things, and especially with Guruji, like he's also just not the same for anybody. Like I cannot tell you. I can give you my experiences, and it might mean something to you. It might not mean something to you. But with these things, with Guruji and with spirituality, like it's such an individual experience, and everybody's going to have a different experience. And I always say to people, like, if you go with an open mind and an open heart. Like, this is the best. Don't have any expectations and just go there open to receive and experience whatever he gives to you, you know? But yeah, like you're saying, don't take our word for it. Like we cannot tell you it's not 2 plus 2 equals 4. It's not that easy. We can't give it to you. All you have to take it yourself. You have to experience it yourself.
Yeah, and love, like I've I've watched people try and describe with their mouth the feeling of love that they have with Guruji, and the only thing that's common with all of them is everyone basically can't do it. Like they're at a loss for words to describe this love that they've experienced, because
Yeah.
love is just unlimited.
I mean,
That one of the
the
qualities of love is unlimited. It's unlimitedness.
the evidence is abundant also. Like, you see Govind there. I mean, Swami Tulsidas, you, me, Johnny, my father. Like, there's so many examples. These are the experiences and examples that we have of Guruji completely changing thousands of people's lives, you know. So again, I think we've been talking a long time after it's quite getting late here, and I think you probably what are you guys up to today? It's 12 it's actually it's exactly 12 hours behind,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't know.
here
It's like
it's 9:30, there it's 9:30 p.m.,
9:30
there it's
a.m.
9:30 a.m.
Yeah. So today, they just got in yesterday. So today's, I
Pretty jet
think
lagged.
we all there. We're maybe gonna take them on a surf lesson.
Hey, Tim is
Um,
the best teacher. I might be a
Sambhava took,
bit biased, but you can definitely take my word for it. He will get you standing, without a doubt.
yeah. It surfing is it's is a beautiful experience that also can be life changing. Um, and a stepping stone to surfing the cosmic sea.
Mm, nice. So, yeah, again, hey, Swamiji, it was super nice to see you. I hope we can see each other in person soon. Um, let's see, maybe something is in the works, but yeah, I'll let you get on with your day. And again, if if you're watching this and you happen to have stumbled upon this or whatever, uh, there's a reason. And again, the link to sign up for Darshan should be in this post. You can click it. And if you know people or if you're devotees of Guruji and you have friends and people like, again, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. It's so simple and it's such a rare opportunity. We don't know how long Guruji is going to be in this world for. We don't know when he was last here. We don't know when he will come again. So it's
And
coming to you on a silver plate. You either take it or you miss the opportunity.
and when you do uh, receive your first darshan, it's very good idea after you receive darshan to be within yourself for as long as feels right. Like stay in silence, stay in the energy, let it really absorb into you, um, as opposed to like starting to talk about your day's activities with your friends, or back to your normal life patterns. If and when you receive the darshan, really sit with it because it has such a lingering effect from the initial point of impact. So that's my one little extra tip is after darshan,
Pro tip.
stay with it.
Absolutely
Pro
agree.
tip.
I just
Yeah,
saw
and
my
I
mom.
borrowed that.
She said love to you both. You met her. You came. So I just saw one comment from my mom. She says love to you both.
Uh, yeah, it was really nice to be a part of be there when you met Guruji.
Yeah,
That was
you've been there from the beginning, man. I feel like I even saw you. I saw you before I met Guruji in the airport. You were filming. So
I
yeah.
must have been blocking your view. That must have been the only way.
No, no. There was a lot of space. Yeah.
Uh,
So
so
again,
good to
I
see
hope.
you, Sambhava. Thank you so much for just emceeing and spending some time with us. It's wonderful to
Thank
see
you
you,
so
bro.
much
Miss
as
you.
well. It was super nice to catch up with you a bit and see you, and give my love to the guys there as well. I hope to see them as well soon. And have a good day, man.
They're
And
they're
everybody, thank
they're
you so
sending
much.
their love. Hey.
Hey, thank you everybody for
Hey.
joining. Have a good rest of your day or night or wherever you are in the world. Jay Ciao.
Jager Dev. Oh.